All right, think I think that I'm live. Let's see how this works out. Now, I do have a small audio issue, so there was no way for me to monitor my audio, so I'm going to ask that people let me know. Yeah, let me know how the audio is. I think I have some music playing in the background, but I don't know how loud it is. It shouldn't be too loud because I can't monitor it. So yeah, let me know. All right, so there, I just boosted the sound of the music a little. I thought a little music would be nice if we're doing a long coding stream. I'm not going to get to enjoy that, but yeah, maybe the rest of you can. Yeah, I ran into a problem. I do the news stream, and the interesting thing is my computer doesn't even like doing that because on Linux I can't use the GPU to do the encoding. And so what has to happen, what I'm doing here, because we're going to try to do some Kubernetes operator stuff and I wanted to be able to build, I'm actually streaming it through a different computer than the one I'm working on, which is a mess of wires. I actually took a picture because I don't actually have a hub, so I'm actually using a keyboard with a hub, and yeah, anyways. So is the music too loud? You said it's audible. That's good. Is it too loud? Is it distracting? Because we can also take it away if that's the case. Here's the fire hazard. I'll have to tweet this out and throw it up on Discord, but oh, that's not great. Okay, yeah. So I found a use for the M1 Mac. That's going to be to stream, but I'm not sure this music is working out. So I think I might just kill the music. And you play your own music. That's what we'll do. And I'll figure something out. Maybe the bring your own music is the way to go. Anyways, I found some royalty-free music I was allowed to play on stream. Thought I'd try to do that. All right, so operators. Now I kind of sudo. So is the audio crackling for my voice or just the music? Because if it's crackling for you, I can maybe work on that, hopefully. Yeah, let me throw this up on Discord, my picture. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to work. I can switch back to my computer, but my computer really doesn't have a whole lot of spare CPU once it's done encoding. So I was trying to avoid doing that. There's how not to do cable management. I will never do a video on cable management. I'm not very good at it. So, is the audio okay now? Jabril? I hope that it's not my voice that's crackling. That would be not great. Not great at all. All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the terminal here. We'll probably use Visual Studio Code. I think that's the most straightforward, user-friendly way of going about it. And thank you for my coffee. And we're going to create an operator, a Kubernetes operator. We're going to create it from the ground up. So the goal was, I asked for your craziest operators. I got some that were too crazy to actually even accomplish, mostly due to cost. So, you know, if I ever I actually make any money, I will probably put that into making some of those. So the one crazy one that I kind of wanted to do was something that would mine crypto, and basically change what it was mining. So it would orchestrate crypto mining, but it would change what it was mining based off of what the current payout was like. Um, so that was one. And I would actually really like to do that, but I don't really have crypto mining hardware except for my Chia mining, but I can't really orchestrate it differently. So like I couldn't convert that hardware to mine something else because it's just a silly little Raspberry Pi. So that one wasn't really feasible for me to actually do, but it sounded like a lot of fun. So I'm going to put that one on the back burner. Maybe we'll do that another month once I get some, crypto mining hardware. And I'd get banned from the clouds if I did it in the cloud. All right. So then another one was basically a orchestrating buying and selling a cryptocurrency, which just has a lot of fees involved with it. So I decided not to do that one as well. So the very last one that we had was something that would allow you to dynamically add a sidecar. Now, I think this person was baiting me a little bit. So basically what they wanted to be able to do is label a pod, and the operator would automatically put a sidecar that ran Visual Studio Code that mounted the disk to that that sidecar. The reason I say that I think that they were baiting me a little bit is that if you know Kubernetes pods, you can't actually add containers to an already running pod. Now, there's two ways to accomplish this. There is you can either edit the deployment and add a new container as a sidecar, or you can actually, if, and this is the little technical part here, you can actually mount their volume if it's read write many, but that depends. That requires you to have a read write many drive. So I think what we're going to first do is we're going to create an operator that gets all the deployments, and we're going to be happy right then. And then we're going to move on to playing around with exactly how we want to add this sidecar to that operator. So yeah, let's get ahead and started with that because we can do some stuff with that, and that will be good. So let's switch over to, oh, look at that transition. Yep. All right. Not as good as my move transition, but I haven't added that to the Mac. I have to like recreate everything for the Mac. So hopefully by Monday for the news, you guys will have a little bit better of a thing. I was a little bit rushed with this. All right. So we have this whole monitor. So I'm going to try to make sure that I have everything up here. I do have Discord open, so you're more than welcome to talk in Discord or on YouTube. Another one of the things that I want to do with you guys eventually is make a bot that synchronizes like a channel in Discord with YouTube's live chat so that you can chat in either place, wherever you're comfortable. I think that would be kind of cool. All right. So where do we start? Let's start by using KubeBuilder. So I like using KubeBuilder. You can use whatever you like, and I apologize, I didn't get you guys my Kubernetes operator video. I was wanting to have it out before this. I put it up. Some of you might see it. I really hate the video, and I know that I kind of promised you guys not to worry if I hated the video and just to post things, but I really didn't like the video because I really didn't think that it actually gave you guys what you needed. It didn't help. It was too scattered. It kind of tried to touch on too many things, and it wasn't a very good introduction to operators. So you know what? We're gonna make a new one. So and I'm gonna re-record that, and so you'll get one. This is kind of a good introduction to it. So we're gonna go ahead and use KubeBuilder. Here is its Git repo, and yeah. I believe I already have this installed. Let's check that out. KubeBuilder. No, I don't. So we're going to have to install it. Now, a lot of times I actually don't use KubeBuilder until after I've initialized the project because you don't really need to. So let's, I believe there's an easy install here. Let's get that done. Quick start guide. Where's the quick start? Oh man, this is so nice. My laptop isn't trying to take off. So much better than streaming straight from my laptop. Where's here we go. Yep, we'll just do this. I did try to, oh, that's interesting that they copied the, your copy button should not copy the comment. Oh, let's see, they don't like this. All right, so what we need to do is just run this with sudo in front of it. I debated about like setting a lot of stuff up before the stream, but I thought that this is kind of part of what we wanted to do. If you guys would like more stuff set up, instead of like actually doing it, this was an operator, so I thought we would just actually do it. Then yeah, we can do that. So let me know, and I can be more set up. Again, I thought this was a good time to hang out. Please ask questions. We can have a conversation about pretty much anything. All right, let's see. So let's see. We should have KubeBuilder in our path now. KubeBuilder not found. Did we not move it to user local bin? Why did it look here? You know what? I'm just gonna move it there. I think I know why it's looking there, and I don't want to deal with that. Wait. That's in the right place. That's user local bin. Oh, user local bin. Not found. What? Huh. Okay, I'm wondering if I actually didn't download it. Let's see. I might have needed to source something here. Let me, my profile. Now here, what they're wanting is the Go Arch and the, let's actually just echo this out, make sure this is printing right. That looks correct, yeah. AMD, I think 64. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and curl this. Oh, let's see. Copy and paste expert. Yes, it is. What did I, oh, here we go. I forgot the O is for the output, KubeBuilder. And now let's check out what we have here. Yeah, we have KubeBuilder. Let's just run it from here, see what that does. Oh, you know what? Maybe we didn't make it executable. Yeah, no executable on here, so let's do that. I also only named it KubeBuild, so oh, you know what? I don't know. This is actually an error from KubeBuilder, not from my environment. Why is it doing this? So it's finding KubeBuilder. Oh wait, is it not finding Go? It has Go installed. All right, everyone, what am I doing wrong? KubeBuilder is supposed to be easy. Why is one not found. It's a double negative for one. This is not that helpful. Not found. Let's jump over here. I can manually get a release from here if that works better. Update to use 122, that's fine. I think we can just use this one. AMD 64 for Linux. Yeah, let's do that one. All right, we will, wow, that's, okay, so it's just an executor. Let's open in the terminal here. All right, for some reason our KubeBuilder file wasn't, so maybe this is a good reason to actually do all of this. Although I wanted these streams to somewhat be educational learning where we can hash some stuff out and do stuff together. So I don't know, this is where, yeah, I don't know where we want to. Now, you know what, an interesting thing is, this machine is relatively new. I just installed 21.10 on it, and I'm using Wayland, which is exciting, but also a little bit difficult. So I don't know if those are affecting it. Let's see. All right, let's see if this one works. KubeBuilder. All right, so this one works. So basically, it's a bad download on their site, or I'm downloading it incorrectly. So let's just move this one wherever we were moving this other one. Let's see. We can, I'm going to just throw that over there for right now, get it out of the way. And we're just going to move it to right here. Oh, yeah. I hate this. Control-Shift-C on the browser. Okay, so we're going to move it here, but this is not called KubeBuilder. This is called, what was it called? Yeah, that. So there we go. How's everyone doing today? Everyone doing well? Hope this works out for everybody, and I hope we have fun doing this. And yeah, you know what? The one person not having fun is kind of me. I've never live coded in front of everybody. And things like this is the reason why, where you're just like, oh yeah, it doesn't work. That's actually one of the problems with my YouTube videos is I give you a walled garden experience where like I went through all the problems and it's nice because I get to show you like just a working thing, but it's also less nerve-wracking than just doing it. All right, so if we do KubeBuilder here, this should be good. Yep, all right, perfect. Yep. We just grabbed the binary directly. So the other thing that I wanted to show you all, because this is how I like to do it, is whenever I start a project, I actually start it from GitHub. Most of the time, I don't actually start it on my local machine. So let's do that. We're gonna go here. We're going to go to your organizations, which I'm a part of far too many. We're going to make this in, here we go. And we're going to start a new repository. And we're going to call this, I don't know of a good name. Appleseed. Appleseed. Is that how you spell? I don't know. No, let's do Apple operator. So we get a good operator in there. All right. Yep, we'll make it public. We'll add a README. We'll add a get, ignore, forgo. Or choose a license. MIT or Apache. We'll pick Apache. I really like the Apache. We'll create this this Apple operator. We can change it later. We'll just grab this. I always use SSH, two-factor authentication. Fantastic, and we'll go ahead and clone this. We will not cone it. Cone is not a Git. Not a Git operation. All right, so here is something to know when you're getting. I don't actually work in my Go path. I think the Go path was one of the largest travesties of the Go language. That and generics. So I don't actually use the Go path because I don't like everything. I like all my code in one spot, not just that. So anyways, we can talk about that. But you need to actually be cognizant of that when you use Kube Builder in it. So let's go ahead and jump into our Apple operator. That makes it sound so much like I'm making an operator for the M1 Mac. Could we make a operator for Apple that does something? I don't think so. That was a horrible name. I suck at naming. All right, so we have our Apple operator, and we'll just jump into the quick start because you do init and then create API. This is what we want right here. All right, now this is where you need to be careful because your domain is going to be the domain for your project, but then you need to give the repo flag if you're not in the Go path. And this repo flag is going to be something different than the domain necessarily. So let's do this. So we're in our project, and we're going to say this is dev.the-null channel, and our repo though is going to be this right here. So what this is going to do, and I'm pretty sure you take off this. So what this is going to do right here is it's going to initialize a new Kubernetes operator using the Kube Builder framework. So why is generics bad? I don't think generics is bad. And this is a good thing, and I'm just going to take a quick step back really quickly to talk to you guys about this. You have two camps. You have people like Jabril, which will say, I've never had a need in Go for generics. And they're probably correct. They probably make some simple web services apps or things like that that never required generics. And that's really awesome. And if you're doing that, you're right. There is no need for generics. Now, when you step away from the simple web service, your whatever microservice you're making, generics actually become pretty crucial and solve some problems. Actually, you see this in time to time from Go. You use maps for sets, and which is not what a map is for. It works fine for it, but it's not what a map's for, and it's confusing when you see it because it's not a set. So if you actually look through, we can pull this up. Let me find. Anyways, so for me, you're right. Generics sometimes get abused and aren't needed in a lot of different things, but that doesn't mean that they're bad and not useful for some things. So let's actually pull up the Kubernetes repo. I might be able to show you an example of where this goes bad. So let's see. GitHub. That's not what I meant to go to at all. GitHub, Kubernetes. And then if we search in here for int set, I think, in this repository for the code. Okay, so this is literally throughout Kubernetes, and I'm not like poking fun at anybody. Again, these are all learning experiences. Because sets and things are valuable, they actually build an inset, they have a double set, they have a string set, they have repeated code for each type of set that they want because they don't have generics. And now they actually just wrap a map for these, but they also do other generic type things where they actually have to duplicate their code. Yeah, actually, map is a set replacement. But this was just one off the top of my head. There's other ones here where they build generics of things, generic containers, and they make them for different things because you have an inset, you have yeah, so here's another generic of graph that they have, which they have a couple different ones, and things like that. So, anyways, this is just why generics can be useful when you're not talking about your simple microservice. And I'm not saying that badly about the simple microservice. The simple microservice is meant to be simple and a microservice. So, anyways, I think this is where developers sometimes get into these arguments because they don't actually see the other person's lives. So there'll be a camp that says, I never need generics. And that's probably true. Their job probably never requires them to use generics. And then you get into the other camp that is like, well, they actually solve legitimate problems. I personally love C++ templates. Now, I know most people, I could get canceled on the internet for saying that, but they're super powerful. Now, it's a whole nother language to learn. Like, you have to learn C++ templates. But once you learn them, so powerful. Yes, so powerful. Anyways, I will move on. That was good questions. And these are the types of things that I think I'm actually going to bring the chat across our screen and right over here. That's a little bit bigger for me to see. These are perfect conversations to have. That's what I wanted to have this stream for, because I know that my videos, again, are walled gardens, and we don't just get to have an honest conversation about computer science. This stuff is super interesting. Okay, so this should work. This is our domain dev, the null channel. Hopefully here soon we have a website running at that domain, well, the nullchannel.dev. And our repo is this one right here, the Apple operator. That was a horrible name. I don't know who came up with that. You put me up on the spot. You don't know. Every single time I name a repo, I generally think several nights on it because I'm horrible at naming. So, and this is going to run. Yeah, so in Go version 2, generics have been accepted, but I don't know how long Go version 2 is out. And it will change the standard library massively if they actually use it, because now you can the standard library for Go lacks generics, and so there's so many different containers that are in standard libraries, and for example, when you're talking about C++ generics, C++ and Rust have the best generics. You can do really powerful things like sort on an unknown container. Right, and those are ideal examples, and that's why I pulled it up, and this is why I wanted to do this live stream, even though I'm super nervous to program in front of a live audience. It's not something I would say is high on my list, but I kind of want to do it more. So if you guys really like these, maybe we can actually do it as more of a weekly thing, or I will definitely at least do it as a monthly thing. And we can do some more challenges. If we do it, if you guys really like it and we start doing it as a weekly thing, I will probably do it on a different channel there's no way to separate out videos on YouTube. Yeah, anyways. So let's check out what this built. The other thing I wanted to do here is let's make we have our web browser over here. I wanted to actually make sure that I keep everything on screen, so I'm not using my second screen except for chat. We're going to do another window over here. That just opened wherever it pleased. And what we're going to look at here, actually I didn't want a web browser. I wanted Visual Studio Code. We're going to look at what was created, code. Unless you guys would like to do this all in Vim, I am more than happy to oblige doing it all in Vim. I thought code was maybe a little bit easier for live streaming. Open folder. All right, so where's our Apple operator? All right, so this is actually what KubeBuilder generated for us. This is not nearly large enough for you guys to see, is it? Huh. It's like I should have prepared for this. All right, let's make this large. Let's supersize this. All right, we are going to use font. Okay, so this is good, but what about this. This is not the editor. Is it called the workbench? I would search, but I don't know size. What do I search? Terminal font size. Well, we'll use the normal terminal. Debug console. Sure, we'll up that. Maybe I can search for font size. I was thinking this was vertical scroll bar size. We'll up that. I don't know what that is. We'll up this too. I don't know. I'm making everything large. Large and in charge right here. Font size. Editor font size. We're back to that. I just want this. Can you guys see this over here where we have like the project structure? I just wanted the project structure size to be big. I don't think that I found it though. Wait, yeah, I don't know. Wait, is it workspace? Oh no, that's where I'm working. I don't think I did it, guys. I'm sorry. I will work on that later. I just wanted to make it larger. If you're having trouble seeing, I'm sorry. Editor font size. Oh, thank you, chat. All right, editor font size. Wait, where was I? I was in preferences. Sorry, I don't use code all that much. Editor. All right. Editor format. Editor font weight. I have it up to 20. This doesn't look like. Let's make it bigger. 30. It doesn't seem to change this here. I feel like that's only this here. Like if we go to a file here, yeah, that's massive. We don't quite need that big. Yeah, that's okay. Well, I'll deal with that later. Let's get into our project. All right, so yeah, I do like Vim. Vim has its failings. I guess I'm not one of those engineers that holds true to any one thing because I like to think that I see the goods and the negatives of each thing. And this is generally why there's camps in software engineers where there's one group in one camp and one in another. Vim is super powerful, and what I love about Vim is I use just straight Vim. Well, I don't use just straight Vim, but I use pretty close to straight Vim. And I can pretty much just Vim any file on any computer and just hit the ground running instead of needing to configure stuff and things like that. It's also super powerful for some text things where I don't like using the mouse. Like a mouse is context switching and not as fun. All right, so let's look over this. Let's look over what we got. This is what we have. So we have our Apple operator with a config. Now, what you notice here, and what I wanted to show, is there is no controller folder or API folder, and that's kind of on purpose. The fact of the matter here is that those things get generated by a different command. Now, I actually generally only use that command once. So this is the create API, and so we'll do that now. And then, you know what, after that, once you have a project, it's so much easier just to add new APIs and new CRDs directly in your project. Like, that's all I ever do after I use it once to generate it. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. We need to have a kind of, let's see, our group should be, what should our group be? I guess it's Apple, because it's the Apple operator. Yep, that's super stupid. We're going to go with V1 because we're going to hit the ground running. There's no V1 beta 1 here or V1 alpha 1. And our kind is going to be, so we basically, the structure of this application is going to be where um, we're wanting to inject a pod. Now, we'll get into that later, but we're going to be looking at deployments. And what I thought would be really cool is if we allowed you to configure what we inject. I know the original person was saying, let's inject Visual Studio Code, but what if we actually let you pick the image and pick how you wanted to expose it and those types of things? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a kind that allows you to do that, and we're going to call this container injector. All right, now for some of you, I actually have a cognizant disability for spelling. So if I misspell things, try not to make fun of me. It will hurt my feelings a little bit. Feel free to correct me whenever I misspell something, though, because yeah, and if you see me doing this, that's just me making sure. So basically, being dyslexic, I can't actually look at the word and tell if it's spelled correctly. I type fairly well, and yeah, but I can't look at the word and tell you if it's spelled correctly. I can tell you if it's phonetic. I love Russian because anyways, we're gonna create this. I think this looks right. Yep. Create resource. So yes, we do want a custom resource. And create a controller. Yes, we also want a controller to go over that. Like I've said many times, you actually don't need both, but yes. Oh, yes. Control Shift. Okay, yes. Let me try that. All right, so Control Shift plus plus. Ooh. All right, but that made everything larger. And I made my font size larger. Can I do... Minus doesn't work? Oh, you guys baited me. Now everything's large. And this is humongous. So now I'm going to have to... Oh, minus. Okay, minus does work. Not Control Shift minus, though. That's weird. All right. Is that better size for everyone? All right, so now we can see here that we actually have a couple more things. And if I'm being too didactic, if everyone's like, let's just get into more coding and less explaining these things, then absolutely tell me that, because I do believe that we'll have challenges where it's more about trying the code than it is. This is stuff that I've done despite being bad at it. I've done it several times. So I'm being a little didactic. I'm being a little preachy. So let me know. So here we see we have an API and we have a controllers. So this is your basic structured project. Now I probably will never use KubeBuilder again to scaffold anything because it's easy enough to do now on my own. But it's really nice that it builds all this out for you. Control Shift minus does not work. I guarantee, I just tried it. Control minus works. I don't know. Control Shift plus. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not here teaching you about Visual Studio Code. That's one thing I'm not. I love it, but I'm not very good at it. All right. So, yes, we just generated our API, so we're ready to go now. One thing that I want to do before we get into the coding is I want to set up just a simple cluster. So I believe I have kind installed on here. Yep, looking good. So let's just kind create cluster. I use kind a lot. Oh, let's delete whatever cluster that is. Kind delete cluster. I think that I was doing something with cluster API. I use kind a lot. Minikube is great. It's a little more powerful than what I need for a day-to-day basis, so I use kind probably the majority of the time. But it's just a little bit faster, although Minikube has gotten a whole lot faster. It used to be that kind was a lot faster, but not so much anymore. Now, one thing that we could do if people are interested in, we could set up a tilt file. Tilt is pretty cool because what it does is it watches your file system, and when you make a change, it will redeploy. Now, tilt is a little more involved to get it set up with a controller runtime. Because actually building an image for this isn't as fun as some other things, but we could do it. So if you guys want to in a little bit, we can definitely jump on that. I'd like to get to the code before we waste too much time on that. So now we should have, we should have a thing running, and our cube config is pointed to it. So now we can get to developing. So let's think this through a little bit. We need to actually, this is one of the I got baited when I took the CKA. This is one of the things that they asked, and you know what? There's no right answer. They said without redeploying, without making a new deployment. So you can't add a container, because again, the container list is immutable unless if you actually redeploy it. Without redeploying, add a container to the same file system. And like I said, you can't actually do that. That's against the rules. And so I actually just skipped that. I immediately skipped the button. I don't know though if their file system was read write many, because if it was read write many, you could actually just make another pod that mounted the exact same file system. But again, that has the caveat that you only work with read write many file systems. Which we're not going to do. So I think what we're going to do is actually we're going to take the deployment, we're going to update the deployment and redeploy the deployment all in the controller. That might be horrible, and it might not even work. I'm not even sure if it will work, but I think that's what we're going to try to do. And that's what I wanted to do here, was try something somewhat silly and go with it, because a lot of that it's a learning experience for me too. Never tried to do that, especially in a operator. So let's think about what we need. We need the image that we want to inject. So let's go to our API and our container injector type. And here's our spec. So we need, let's see, we need image. So when you're making an operator, one thing to note here is you must give JSON serialization for it. I think it actually says it up here. Oh yes, note, JSON tags are required. So make sure you have the JSON tags. So let's see, we want image. All right. Actually, I probably should fail on empty. Actually, I think we could have a default image that we deploy, like the what is it called? The Visual Studio Code. That's another whole problem in itself, though. Deploying Visual Studio Code. I think what actually needs to happen is you need to deploy a container that allows your local Visual Studio to inject itself into the container. I don't think that you actually need to deploy a whole Visual Studio Code. So that's why I'm not worried about that problem just right yet. Let's figure out how to inject into one first dynamically. Okay, so the image. Do we need anything else? Let's just start with image. All right. So the first thing that we need to think about is how to watch for deployments. Labels. We're going to watch for labels because that's the whole idea. You label something, and then you're going to do something based off of that label. I did stop sharing my screen. Look at that. I'm sorry. I have failed you all. Not used to doing the live coding. Sorry about that. I did. So, like I said, let me reiterate here for all of you who were just watching my beautiful face while I said that. And thank you, Jubril, for letting me know that I stopped sharing my... Right, and you're right that that might have been the answer. The problem with the CKA, one second, I'm going to try to pronounce your name, and I'm really, really sorry if I destroy your name. I'm going to call you Raj or Raja, uh, whichever you'd prefer. Raja Seelan, Raja Seelan, Raja. I'm destroying it. I'm sorry. I'm going to call you Raj for right now because I can say that easy. You're right that the answer was probably that it was an NF. It was a file system that was read write many. The problem with the CKA is it's not about proving that you can figure those types of things out. It's about how fast you can do it, and that's my whole problem with the exam. I like to pretend that I could have figured out any of those problems, but it's all time constrained. So we can talk about service meshes, but they a lot of the times they use a daemon set on the node that watches everything. It's a little bit different, and this goes into eBPF because what you can do with an eBPF. Um, Raj, okay, thanks, and I'm really sorry for destroying your name. I apologize. I'm a stupid American and only know English, but I don't even know English very well. Okay, but what you do a lot of the times with those is they use things like eBPF, and so they actually just do one on a node. They're not actually sidecarring in your traditional sense of a sidecar container in the deployment. What they're doing is they're sitting on the node and getting all of the traffic that goes through them. So they basically hijack all the traffic on that node and do it that way. That's how you would do it with your basic service mesh. Anyways, as I was saying when you guys could only see my face, is make sure whenever you're changing these that you have JSON serialization tags. They say it right here. It is required. It is required, and your thing will fail if you don't. And that means, like, if you make a struct here, just like this, and you make a field in here, type. And you make a field in here that's something, and then you use this struct in here. So let's say you say my struct. I misspelled struct. I can see that. And let's say you even do JSON here, just like this. This would still fail because this doesn't have the JSON tags. So make sure everything that you have in here has the JSON tags. It's a mandatory requirement. I know this got me in trouble once because I used a structure that was outside of the types here, and that's pretty much a no-no. It has to have the JSON tags. So just a word of warning. Learn from my mistakes. All right, so we have the image. Sweet. Let's move on to the controller. Now, where you control what you're watching is right here. And I never remember the syntax exactly. We're going to do, it's something like watch, I think. Watches? Yeah, okay, watches. I'm going to have to look up the syntax. I don't do this very often. Cube builder, watches. I don't remember it like right off the top of my head, so we're going to pull up some of the documentation here. Very good. So this is what we're basically looking to do. Watch arbitrary resources, and there's two parts to this. There's this first one where we give it the object. All right. Let's see. What example am I looking for? None of these are it, and this is too small for you guys to see. I'm sorry. All right, so yeah, this is what I'm looking for right here. So yes, this is the kind source. This is what I want. Sorry, I don't do this often enough. It's usually it's one and done. You like set it up and then you forget about it. That's at least how I do this. And then we have the handler here. Actually, I'm just gonna copy both of these. All right. Let's see. Now, what we need to do is this in queue request for objects. This is where we kind of want to We might need to do something special with it. I don't know off the top of my head. All right, enqueue requests from map function. This, I think, is what we want to do here. We can actually look. I have a repository with this. Let's see. GitHub, null channel. We'll just go to GitHub. Let's see. Stupid operators. Fantastic video. If you haven't seen it, I don't know. I'm not very good at making videos. All right, so this labeler watches something. Let's look at that really quickly. I think I like this because it's pretty simple. It was just designed to watch stuff. So yeah, this is what I use here, which I think I like the use. So then it uses this function here, and we're just going to do that. So there's a couple different ways where you can have this enqueue handler. You can basically just pass it one. Oops, I don't need two watches. Wow, that got a little more confusing than it needed to be. So then we can just build this enqueue function down here, basically, which maps labels to the operator that we want to use. So basically what we need to do is when a label is created, we need to know which one of our things to run on it. And now you could actually do this by namespace, and I think that's all we're going to do is we're going to say, is it on the right namespace? And if it's in the same namespace, then it should do it. So you could run several of these for different namespaces, I think. I think that's how we want to do it. If you guys have ideas or thoughts on that, let me know. All right, let's see. This is, we don't need this. This is all garbage. Now, what do we have here? Oh, we don't need core. We need, actually, where are labels? I don't know where labels are. Labels. What is a label? Where is a label? This is where I generally have the most difficulty. So let's just see if this can import. Nope. So if we switch this to pod, it probably will find pod. I don't want to watch a pod. No, it does. Oh, because I haven't actually done it. Okay, so this is here. Let's go up to core up here. We're going to import it. So I've never actually done go mod tidy on this project, so we're going to import pod first. Where's core? Here we go. I don't know that label exists in core. That was just oops, got. So we're gonna just test it out and see. And then we're gonna need to run go mod tidy on this for that to actually work. What I do need to find out is if, yeah, see, this, if you're not running in your Go root, which I chronically don't, is one of the problems that you're going to have to do, is you're going to have to run go mod tidy, where it's going to go and get those things. Beautiful. All right, so now what I don't know is if labels in... And the other problem is I don't even know, they don't make it inherently easy to find either. So let's go look for this. Do we have a Kubernetes? Yeah, so label. This is generally what I do. I just look for the thing that I'm looking for. Actually, what we can do is we can do type label. I don't know how to do, like, make it exactly what I'm looking for. Do you guys know how to do that? Like, I want to search for this string specifically. I don't want, you know, here they're finding type and label in the same file. Do you guys know how to do that? Yes, we can import core as v1. So one of the reasons I don't do that, now what I would be willing to do is this. we can import core. Let's see, where is core? Yeah, core v1. I would be willing to do this. The reason I won't do v1 is because we have our own v1 that's our controller. That if you import it, I would import as v1, just because that's ours. So we can do core v1 here, but it's not in core. Where is type? I hate you, GitHub search. I'm not going to through 101 of these. Type label struct. Curly brace. Really? Really, this is the one that you wanted to give me. Thank you. How do I say I want this line exactly in a GitHub search? Do I quote it? I don't want to search for quotes, but yeah, the quotes aren't working either. I don't know if I can do that. All right, another better way of finding where it is. Let's do this. I have another idea. We're going to go to core v1 and we're going to just actually go into here. Let's see now. No, I don't want the document. Let's go into core. All right. So if we're here, can we actually open it up? I'm just going to go here. Let's give that a try. We'll find it. We'll find it. All right. We're just going to. No, actually, that's probably a bad idea. We'll go to API. Nope. Package API. All right, so here we have v1, we have pod. Okay, well, I should have looked this up before starting this. This was not what I meant to spend time doing. Let's see, where else? Admission, where would this maybe be? Which one? Node? I don't think it would be under, I feel like it should be under core, but it's not under core. This is another thing that you can do, is find it used in another resource. Now, the other stupid thing I could be doing is it not called label? Is it called something else? May contain labels and oh, it's just in the meta object. Oh, that sucks. So do we just want to watch meta objects being updated? Oh, that's oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. How do we want to do this? All right, I have a new way, because this might not be the best way, trying to just like, it's not something that's getting updated that we can watch on. I've been going down the wrong path entirely here. I think what we want to do is watch deployments, wait when a deployment gets updated, then go look at its labels. I've been looking at this completely wrong. Okay, so in that case, we don't want core at all, and this is why I was having a hard time. we don't want core. We want, it's called app, right? Application, apps. Yeah, apps v1 has deployments, right? Sweet. So that's what we want, not core and not a stupid label. Sorry, I've been leading you guys down the wrong path. This is live programming. I'm either proving how bad I am or how every developer struggles with some of these things. I don't know. I at least hope that every developer struggles with these things because I sure do. Also, thinking on live stream is a little bit more difficult. Core. So we don't want core. We want apps v1. Apps v1, and we want this to be, it was apps, right? It was apps. Yeah. And we'll take this, and we'll make this, and we're going to watch deployments. Deployment. Beautiful. All right, so now we want to map these deployments back to our types. And so how we're going to do that is, well, we don't need this. We want v1, that's ours. And we have, what did we call it? Container injector? Container injector operator would have been a good name for our repo instead of Apple operator. Now that we've come up with that. All right, and this is, oh, this was a copy and paste mistake. There we go. And okay, man, I should not have copied and pasted. This is the, oh, we need a list. Container injector list. And this should be injector list. So basically, if you make multiple of these to watch different namespaces. Beautiful. And it's going to return the one in the namespace for it. And so then this one can operate on the deployments. All right. So how is everybody doing today? Do you want these more refined? Some of them are going to be more refined. Or again, a lot of it I wanted it just be kind of fresh. Let's actually just try running this. Let's I think everything should run. Let's go ahead, jump over here, make build. Let's see if that works. Kind of think it should. All right, cool. And okay, so we have our deployments, or we have our mapping functionality. Now we can work on reconciling. So our reconciliation is going to be all about getting these nodes. And what I want to do really quickly is just run the reconciliation and print out all the deployments that it finds. So interesting note here, when reconcile gets called, we won't know what deployment actually called it. And as far as I know, there is no real way to know what this mapping is. If there is, let me know. I've never actually done that. That's an interesting, let's actually really quickly just check out that cube builder documentation. I didn't see, cube builder, watch this one. I didn't see a way to actually, why did it not go there? Okay, I didn't see a way to actually do that. So let's see, you can watch unstructured objects, yeah, blah blah blah. Again, this is just going to watch it, but it's not going to tell us which one. This is arbitrary. So this is what I was thinking we do, is watch the arbitrary name again of label. Again, we'd watch the meta. You can do get name or, again, label here, not name and namespace, but the labels. And maybe this is actually the way to go. But I think that we actually have the same problem, because if a new label is created, I still don't think that we have we would know which one it is in the operator loop. Right, it's just calling the reconciliation loop, which doesn't contain any of that information. So without doing something funky, I don't actually think that's a great way for us to do it here, because we're going to have to list all the deployments anyways. All right, that's being said, let's get a list of deployments and then print that out. That's not too difficult here. So basically, you have a context that's passed in. You should use this context because this is going to allow you to cancel it later on if you like. And then you have the request, and this request is going to basically, all this request holds is the name and namespace of the object. Yeah, the namespace name, which is the name and namespace. So let's go back here. So what we can do first is the r.client. So this is the Kubernetes client that we can talk to. We want to get our object first, the one that this mapped back to, that's running in the same namespace. So we're going to go ahead and get that. And that means we need the request. Well, first it's a context, and then the object key, which would be the request.namespace name, and the object that we're going to pass it into. So this is our injector. And we need to make that first, so we'll just do a quick injector here. Wait. It's called it's called a container injector, right? We'll just call injector. Not the right thing at all. We just need this one, v1 container injector, and then that gets used here, and then we can check the error. So I do believe this is probably not the best way to handle errors in a reconciliation loop, but we can get to better error handling later. If error does not equal nil. Do you know what would also benefit from generics? Error handling. Error handling would be, look at Rust error handling and then tell me that it wouldn't be improved with generics. There's probably somebody out there that will argue that, so don't tell me. I personally think it would be improved. All right, so here we're just going to you know what? We're just going to requeue. We're just going to return the error. You can set a requeue time here. I don't think that we want to do that right now. So yeah, this result here, basically you can just tell it whether you need to requeue or not. By default, it's false. Yeah, defaults to false. And then you can also tell it the time in which to requeue after. So if you're saying after a failure you want to have some sort of back off mechanism, this is where you would do it. Is basically right here. Now, there is a way to have your operator run periodically. That's not super recommended, but if you're wanting to do that, that would be here in the main when you set it up here. So when you're setting this up, I forget exactly what it's called, but this object has something in it called requeue after. I don't remember what it's called. I'd have to look it up. It's in here though. I think it's in here. I wanted to see it, but anyways. Oh yeah, sync period right here. So basically, a sync period, an operator only runs, a controller only runs when the object was changed. And what happens here is it also happens once every yeah, defaults to 10 hours. So it also just runs every 10 hours to make sure everything is there with a 10% jitter. But you can make this smaller. I wouldn't recommend it, and there's a lot of reasons that they talk through a lot of it. It's super powerful if you need to use this sync period, but most of the time, it's better to actually do it here in your controller. So like if you want, if you want this to retry in an hour, do it here, not in the sync period, because the sync period is for everything. Like it's just going to do it, even if it did it perfectly. Even if it ended here, it's going to do it again. So this is much more fine grain. Anyway, sorry for the rabbit trailing there. I do that. This is actually like if you see most of the cuts in YouTube where you're like, you cut there, it's because I rabbit holed super badly. All right, so we're getting hours. We don't really need to do anything with it right now, but you should always get yours first, like your operator's custom resource if it has one. Again, doesn't necessarily have to have one. All right, the next thing that we're going to do here is get all of the deployments. This is pretty much just as easy. So we're going to do deployments. We're going to make this a list, but this is going to be apps v1 deployment list. So it's actually its own type because it would actually have been really nice if Go allowed us to have generics. I might harp on that a little bit. Anyways, we have a deployment list here. This is what we want here because there is no generic. Anyways, deployment list works real well here. And what you do instead of git, there's a different command instead of git. There is the client.list. And this is going to get a list. It's going to take a deployment list. It also takes a special thing where you can filter. So we'll do ctx dot comma request. Nope. So here we want to just pass in deployments. So we don't have to give it a namespace name because that's all it's going to do here. And then here in the list options, we can tell it the namespace to list in. So again, the namespace name gives it a name. And it's looking for a single object. A namespace name gets a single object. It's unique by all names are unique by namespace and name. So when you go to get a deployment or go to get a container injector, that name is unique in that namespace. But here we're asking for all of the deployments. And here we can actually filter by this objects. So we can give, so I forget exactly how to do this. We want namespace. Yeah, namespace. There we go. So just namespace, and we want this to be the same namespace as our request namespace. But it's a namespaced name. Namespaced name dot namespace. Yeah, there we go. That should. It doesn't like it. No new all right. Visual Studio. Right here should be red. Not the whole thing. Right here. Thank you. I'm glad you made it look like all right. So now this is going to give us a list of deployments. And you know what? All we want to do here is for... my monitor. All right, all we want to do here is deployments dot items. Actually, I wanted range dot deployment dot items. We're going to What does it not? Oh, okay, yeah. Anyways, we're just going to print a line. We're going to print a line with its name. So we'll just do v.name. And then we're going to print another line, .print line. And we're going to do this one. Let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to do labels. And then we're going to print out its labels. So v.meta object meta.labels. All right, so I think this should actually run and do something. All right, so let's make build. Now, one thing that we need to do here, because we've just created a operator, is we need to actually create. We actually need to install our custom resource definition, or else it's going to fail. But let's go ahead and do it without doing that first. So let's go ahead and run this, so we can see exactly what it will look like if you don't do that. So let's do make run. Run is going to run it in this command line right here on our Kubernetes cluster. And we literally crashed out. And it says could not wait for cache to sync, which I think is a really strange error. And this is the reason I bring this up, and I love letting it crash out like this, because it's a little weird. Failed to wait for container injector caches to sync. No matches for kind injector. So if you read a little bit further in, it makes sense. But there is no apple.dev. Apple hates me. My group. Okay, so let's do make install. Let's see if that fixes anything. It should. Let's see, what time is it? Okay. We've been going at it. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to take about a 10-minute break because I need to. Need to stand up, run around for about 10 minutes, and then we'll continue on. All right. Whew, okay, so this installed it. Now we should be able to make run, and it should actually work. Should. I'm not guaranteeing. All right. So it seems to be working. Now, you notice it's not doing anything, and that's because this all requires us to have one of these labeler things installed. So the best way I like to do it is I like to make a new folder called examples. And what I do is I go into the config right here, and they have a samples, and I go ahead and pull in the samples, and then I reconfigure this. The reason I don't just leave it in samples is because this is an auto-generated, and I don't generally touch the auto-generated. So we're just going to copy this, and we're going to throw this into examples. We're going to rename this something a little bit more family-friendly. Yeah, we're just going to do a container injector YAML. And if you realize our spec up here, let's see, our spec, we need an image. We're not going to delete foo just right yet because it's already running, and I don't want to do that. What we're going to do is we're just going to do an image string, which again we're not really using, but let's we'll just throw in a busybox image for the time being. All right, so we can apply this. We'll open up a new tab over here, and we will. Now, another thing I want to ask you guys, how much do you want, like, part of me was going to do, I've been using Sway now that, but i3 Sway. I use that a lot, and I didn't know if that was acceptable to use, because I want to make this as user-friendly as possible. So I don't want to be doing things that you guys are like, oh, how did all of a sudden he jump to X, Y, or Z? But if people are interested in that as well, I mean, that's definitely something that we can do. Because yeah, I do definitely mod out my computer just a little bit, but I do try to make it. I say family friendly. I mean noob friendly. I mean, I am family friendly as well, because I don't make anything for children, but I want that if there is a young adult or a young person who would like to learn this stuff, I'd like to make it friendly for them, so that their parents don't have to worry. Again, none of my content is made for children, but anyways. Okay, what were we doing? Oh, we need to apply this. I'm sorry, a little bit of a brain fart. Okay, apply -f. Oh, I should do that in automatic way. All right, so it got created, and we can go ahead and see here. Nothing printed out. You want to know why? You want to know why? I know why. I think I know why. I think I know why. Let's look at our controller. Let's look at the one condition that it would print under. If there was a deployment. I don't think that we have a deployment. All right. Well, oh, I don't like gaps. I honestly really hate gaps. Why would I do this thing that lets me maximize my space usage and snap everything and tile everything, and then throw in gaps in there? Oh, it kills me. It kills me. I'm a highly opinionated person. We'll never use gaps. Nope, nope, nope. No gaps. No gaps for me. All right, so the only way this would actually ever print anything out is if there was a deployment, and we don't have a deployment. So you know what? Let's go back to our examples, and let's make a deployment example that's easy to apply. Now, I'm going to do this if any of you guys are doing CKA stuff. My favorite way of making a deployment instead of memorizing all of that stuff, and Jabril, you kill me with your gaps. No, i3 should never have used gaps. Why does everybody that like really love i3 put in gaps besides me? It hurts my inner soul. My inner sanctorum. It hurts. No gaps. All right. We're not friends anymore. Just joking. Please be friends. All right. So let's create deployment. We'll call this Nginx. And let's see. We want it to use the image Nginx. And we want dry run. Client. And we want YAML, and we want to put this in examples engine. I always want to spell like engine. Nginx.yaml. So this is how I like to create stuff, because it's fast and easy, and I don't have to memorize every single piece of YAML that goes into it. Exactly one name is required, but got two. I did something wrong. I said create deploy meant. I did not give it two names. Exactly one name. This is one name. Nginx. Image dry run YAML. Okay, I'm missing something. I can do this, which I shouldn't need to be done. What did I do wrong? It was that. Yeah, okay. Why do the logs say starting workers? How else would you see your wallpapers? The whole point of i3 is to not see your wallpapers. I believe that's actually why. That's actually why I have the default wallpaper. Like if we look over here, I do a lot of photography, and I actually have photography on like windows and stuff that I actually put as my background. And the reason you never see it on my Linux machines is because I generally use i3 or Sway now, and I never have the gaps to see it. So so anyways, okay, so I just needed the equals. Okay. Let's wait. Oh, let's go ahead and apply this. Okay, apply. So now we should see something run. Check it out. Check it out. It ran. So that's pretty cool. It ran 4 times. This is, if you're wondering why, and I don't know this off the top of my head for a deployment, but most likely what happened here was that the deployment got updated a couple of times with from things like the replica controller and things like this as statuses were being updated. So this can be somewhat normal. Now it could mean that you actually have some sort of bug. I had a bug like this for work the other day where basically I updated a sub resource and but that sub resource that I updated was one that the main resource watched because whenever it got an update, it needed to make sure that it was right. And so basically it was an infinite loop of watching itself. So like it would run successfully and then start running again because it had made it. Anyways, me being stupid. One place I see people that get started with operators get messed up with this is they update their own resource for like status or whatnot, which then makes them reconcile again. And so it never stops reconciling. That's the more standard beginners reconcile issues there. All right, so now at this point, we actually are printing out the labels. You know what we didn't do? Oh, this is actually printing out map.app nginx. All right, so what we didn't do is add a fun label to this. Oh, you know what? You know what we need to add, now that I thought about it, is what label we're looking for. We could actually just hard code a label, but it's much better to add a label. Let's label. We could actually add a map of labels, but we're going to keep it simple. Each one only watches for one label. That's I think reasonable for now, especially since we don't actually have a use case. It's very hard to do these because there's no actual use case that I'm shooting towards. So what is correct? What is replica? Yeah, we can look at them. So we created a deployment. So we would expect a deployment and a pod. But what you don't understand is there's actually a middleware between a deployment and a pod. And we can talk about what those are. Let me finish typing this. Let's add this, and then in our example we want to actually put in a label that we're looking for. So in our example here, we want to search for the label. Our label is going to be help. That's what we're looking for. All right, and we want to add a label here. So we're going to add the we probably want to do it. We'll think about this. Our label's probably not just help. It's probably more like probably we'll talk about that later. I do want to talk about your replication controllers in a bit of detail so you don't feel left out. So did I type replication? No, injector. Whew. I thought for some reason I said replication and controller, and so I thought replication here as well. And yeah, whatever. What you have to understand is labels have 2 parts to them, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we have a deployment, and so we can actually go get deploy And we see that we have a deployment, and we can then also get pods, and we would expect to see a pod, and that's also running. So, but what you don't understand is that there's actually more, and we can actually prove this. Get all. We'll just get everything here. And here we see we have a replication set. I said replication controller, replication set. And what you don't understand is that a deployment doesn't actually manage the pod directly. A deployment actually manages the replica set, and the replica set manages the Nginx. Replication controller was the old original thing, and that was deprecated. And there is a controller that controls the replica set, probably called the replication controller. Yeah, so this actually controls the pods, and there's a couple reasons for this, and some of it goes to like your rolling upgrades and things like that, that work through this replication thing. So the deployment uses it. So yeah, absolutely good questions, and keep those types of questions coming. I love to answer them. Now it is 1:30. It is time for me to take a small break. You know what I don't have set up is some sort of break screen. I should have like a break screen because I don't usually do long streams. So this is kind of my first time doing this, so definitely let me know. Oh man, I just got a couple more viewers, but I am sorry. I'm taking a break because I've been streaming for an hour and a half. I try to stand up every hour and a half. I know it's supposed to be every hour, but I can never do that. So I'm going to take a quick break. It's going to be about a 10-minute break. And yeah, hopefully you guys also take a break if you've been sitting at your computer. And hopefully you stick around and we can finish digging into this. All right. See you guys in just a second. Oh, what should my break screen be? Let me create a break screen really quickly. I'm going to create a new screen. I need wireless keyboard. Scene called breaking. Breaking. What am I breaking? All right, now you guys should see nothing. That's cool. You guys are getting to see how good I am at OBS. Live OBS. I bet that was not something that you guys were expecting. Let's see, what should we text? Oh yeah, I think this is gonna work. Oh, I put a little text speak in there. This is good. This is actually really good content. I'm sure that all of you appreciate this. Look at that. I'm gonna center it too. Okay. There we go. Yeah, if only we had gaps. Oh, you guys are gonna kill me. I do actually believe that I am the only. 1 second, since I haven't left. I am the only person that uses i3 without gaps. Like every single time I see somebody like, hey, I made my i3 setup, they're like, check out these beautiful gaps. I do believe I am in the strong minority. Strong. But anyways, I'm going to go take a break. I will be back in 5 or 10 minutes, everyone. Have a fantastic break, and hopefully see you when I get back. So be right back. If next time I'll have break music too. But for right now, listen to the sound of silence. And we're back from the breaking. Hey everyone. Whew. All right. Man, I do need some music for that so that you all have a nice, relaxing break. Got refilled my coffee. All right. I do recommend that all of you join the Discord if you haven't. Um, I put in some pictures. You know what? I'm going to do my setup at some point. I always felt weird doing my setup because like I feel like that's what really big famous people do, and that's not really me. But I'll do it because at this point I kind of have an interesting one down to I didn't realize this, but because the M1 Mac has so few ports, I actually needed more ports, and the only thing that I had to expand the ports was a keyboard with more ports. So I have a keyboard plugged into it that's only used as a USB hub. I ordered a part to fix that, but I didn't realize that up until last night because I was making this whole thing. Anyways, but yeah, we'll do that. We'll do the system, my computer, how I have it set up. We'll do my desk, how I have it set up, because I do have a pretty interesting setup. I've tried to set it up where I work and record in the same place so that I can, yeah, I have limited space, and so like it made it very flexible, or tried to at least. But one thing you'll have to promise is not to make fun of my cable management, because my cable management is worse than my English. Yeah. All right. So the last thing that we did before the break, let's switch over to this screen here. All right. The last thing we did was we made a controller that's watching a deployment. We have a deployment, and then we talked about replica sets. I didn't tell you what I was breaking, just that I was breaking. Nothing more than that. And next time we'll do live OBS editing, if everybody liked that. All right, so the next thing that we need to do, is let's start looking for labels. All right, so let's update this. Our labels here, and since everybody's using i3, next stream might be on i3. Now I have one little problem with i3 and my laptop, and it's that I'm using a docking station, and every once in a while it just stops displaying on a monitor, and then like I have to log out and log back in or do some funky things, which might not be good for live streaming, but I'll try. Or it always makes me nervous with live streaming because like if it accidentally goes dark, what do I do? All right. All right. Yes, I already said all right. So we have this label, and we've started to label some stuff. Let's update our Nginx deployment because we added our injector with help, and we should see that. So now I've seen a lot of people actually like alias this out more than just K. And that's fine if you want to do it. This is another one of those things that I don't do because I do a lot of teaching and helping. Because if I do, it's much harder to follow along with what I'm actually doing. I think it's acceptable to do just K instead of kubectl. But anyways, yes, if you're wondering, I don't alias it any further just because I do a lot with other people. So, all right, so let's check out what our labeler did here. And you can notice that it had Injector help as a label now. And so now we can start looking for Nginx deployment with that. Let's actually make a second Nginx deployment that doesn't have that, so that we can validate that it operates only on the Injector help, that we're filtering it correctly. So we're going to do this. We're going to duplicate. Can you duplicate? Delete, copy, no duplicate. So copy, paste. Where's paste? Maybe I need to paste on the folder. Yeah, paste. and we'll call this Nginx clean. Clean, no label here. And we'll remove this label. Beautiful. All right. So now we can deploy that. The one thing I love about i3 or Sway is like instead of having, I don't normally have multiple tabs of a terminal open. I just have multiple windows. Anyways, yeah. Not using i3. Deploy dash or apply. All right, now we can. Now you'll also see that we get two. It has the Nginx one and the Injector. Pretty cool. All right. So what we need to do now is we need to operate on just the ones that have the label. Just spitballing here. I think we'll just do a something like a list here. So we'll do deploys, and this equals just a nice little array of nice little slice of deployments. That was the word I was looking for. And we're going to say, let's see, for each, I don't know why I was typing the each there. Let's underscore v. There might be a better way to do, wait, 1 second. Let me, how is it a map? Please tell me it's a map. Yes, it's a map. Okay. No for loop. Sweet. I was starting to cringe a little bit with our for loop there. So we're going to say if, if v dot, what was that? Object meta dot labels, now this is, what did we label it? Injector. This is our base. This is the thing that you don't get to change. If injector, we should probably put this in a constant. We're not going to right now because I'm lazy. Equals our injector dot name. Wait, we didn't call it name. It's label, right? Label. No. Label. Right? That's what we called it? Let's go back to our types here. Yeah, label. Oh, it's in our spec. My bad. This is important to notice here. This right here is a container injector, which is the root thing, which then you have to go to the spec. So you always have to do like injector.spec. A lot of the time, what you'll see is that when you're breaking stuff out into a function, you pass the spec. So you don't have to specify spec for each one. Let's see. Yep, expected an operand. I get it. An operandi. Why do you not like this? Noobing it out on you guys. All right. So, any questions, any comments? Do you guys have a better idea that we can do this quickly? I realize that there's possibly better ways of doing this. I'm trying to do it in the normal steps, not over-engineering. One of the problems that I run into a lot, and I see a lot of people run into, is they over-engineer from the get-go. Because there's definitely better ways to do this if we were making like a commercial project. But I always like to do the get it working and then make it better from there. So to a reasonable extent. And especially since this is a couple-hour stream, there's no reason to over-engineer. Maybe that's the exact reason to over-engineer. I don't actually have to get a working product. All right, so if it is an injector and it matches the label that we're wanting, then we're going to append. We're going to say deploys equals append deploys v, right? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to append all the ones. So now we'll have a list of deployments that need injecting. Let's just print this out just to make sure that we're doing the things right. So let's print line. Also, think of other challenges. The next challenge is going to be in a month, right? Let's see. That puts us now in November. This is Thanksgiving. Do we want a Thanksgiving stream? I actually don't mind. I have nothing going on that Saturday. But if nobody would want a Thanksgiving stream, I don't know. Is Thanksgiving a strictly US thing? If anybody wouldn't want a Thanksgiving stream and would like it on like the following weekend, I can do that. But I actually like the idea because I don't have work and stuff going on at that time, so I'll be more prepared. So that being said, I need concepts. If you have an idea, if you have a challenge, I'd love a challenge that we have zero hopes of actually hitting, and we'll just try to do it. As long as it doesn't cost me a ton of money to do, I'm up for trying to do it. So think of ideas, list them on Discord, comment on this video if you have an idea, or tweet at me. Either way. Let's get some ideas for a good challenge. I have a couple ideas. One is TLS termination in a Kubernetes cluster. It's actually something I've done before, so it's not that much of a challenge, but it would be educational. There's not many things that challenge me when programming. I'm just joking. A lot of things do. All right, so we're printing here that we found the deployments to update. And we're going to, let it just, no, deploys. There we go. Let's just do that, see what that looks like. We're going to cancel that. We're going to make install. I don't know if we updated the CRD any. We're going to then make run. And then we're going to jump over here. We're going to check our deployments. We only have one. Wait, didn't we apply? Wait a second. Shouldn't we have two? Oh, I'm a dum-dum, guys. I changed the name of the XML file, but it's still the same. It's still the same deployment. Oh, that hurts. This is why I don't program live. That hurts. This is Nginx clean. Oh, that hurt. Oh wait, the image still is Nginx. I guess the container name could be Nginx still too. That's fine. All right, that hurt. Now I need to actually apply. I need to apply the regular one to get it back to regular. All right, so now we have two deployments. Beautiful. All right, so for anybody that's just getting started here, who's just joined, feel free to say hi. If you're confused as to what we're doing, please ask, speak up. Thank you for everyone that's been here. I should be looking at the camera. I keep looking at chat when I'm talking to chat, but I'm talking to you guys. And this is the very first one. So if you're just new and just started, help me make it better. Let me know if you want it to be a more polished stream, but I feel like that's more like what my videos are. But if that's what you'd like, I can do that. All right. So what we're doing right now is we are trying to make something that updates the container list if you label it. I know it's a little crazy, but that's what we're doing. The whole point was to do something we weren't quite sure if we could, or I can tell you we shouldn't do this. It's not a should we, but yeah, something a little bit fun. So that's what we're doing. Let's check on our operator. Yeah, okay. Deployments to update. Oh, okay. This is kind of funny. It does have one in it instead of two, so that's good. But we really want to not do that. That looks not cool. I go for cool points, so let's. Should we do this in a loop? Yeah, let's do this in a loop and just. I know I'm putting a lot of loops in here for. Deploys, yeah. We're just going to print their names. There's other ways you can do this. This is an easy way of doing it. Rust has some really great ways of doing this. I love Rust. Yep, love Rust. We'll definitely do some streams in Rust. They don't all have to be Kubernetes. You know what? Actually, one of the things that I'd like to do, like, and again, this I might do this on a different YouTube account. I have a orchestrator, a container or runtime orchestrator built in Rust that I'd like to just stream working on it, because like the reason I do it, it's not because I think I'm going to beat Kubernetes. It's because it gives me super strong knowledge of the problems of container orchestration, and I learn so much by doing that. And so like I think that would be a really fun and interesting stream, and I do it in Rust because I really like Rust. Anyways, so if you guys would like to see that, do let me know. I'll work on how I do it. It would have to be in the evenings, which I know a lot of my fans are European, which I know would suck, but I would leave the recordings up. You just wouldn't be able to live interact. Let's run this. Didn't update anything. We can just run. We'll see how it goes. All right, so deployments to update Nginx clean. Wait. No. We have a bug. Deployment to update Nginx clean. Let's check this out. The clean one shouldn't have. Nginx clean doesn't have the label, right? Yeah. Uh-oh. I did something wrong. Okay, describe deployment Nginx clean OYAML. Oh, okay. Sorry, not on describe. Let's look at its labels. This is all it has. Well, this is why I don't program in public. Well, I guess this isn't in public. All right, let's see. Labels. It says that it has injector. Oh, wait, that's me being printing bad. Let's jump back into here. Let's see. That is getting printed here, but this for range deploys. All right, so how do we do this? We're saying if there's this is equal to label. Oh, I know what's happening. This isn't really a bug. I do know what's happening, though, right here. So what this is happening is, let's check this out. This is actually interesting. We never applied a, so let's do get all. Oh, no, this won't work because all doesn't actually list custom resources. So our custom resource is the container injector. So let's do get container injector and list this. Describe. No, let's do get container injector. I could have just used the line above, and let's do OYAML. So what you see is there's no label, and so that's why it's matching, is because ours doesn't have a label. So let's just go ahead and edit this in place. Let's just do this. edit. What's the name? The name is container injector sample. And we're just going to do what label, and that label is help. All right, so now we should kick off the reconciliation loop, as you noticed we did. And now you can see that we have both these, and it's only the Engine X one that needs to be updated. So we fixed it. It wasn't actually the code that was wrong. It was the our deployment was wrong. Perfect. All right. All right. So, I mean, the only thing that's left is to add a container to this deployment. So effectively, let's just do this by hand. See what we would need to do. Okay, get deployments. Okay, get. Okay, edit. Oh, deployment, not pod. You know what I actually really like about get all? Let me show you guys that. This actually puts the full path in it, so you can actually just copy and paste this. And instead of typing kget deployments, you can just do like kedit and just paste that, which is really nice because it has it's a namespace name. All right, so what we want to do is we want to basically add a container to this. So for this, we're just doing like image busybox. But this should fail. Right, it does fail. You cannot, let's see, invalid, edit fail, okay, name. Let's throw name in there. All right. So let's and Jabril, you had asked earlier, you can see the replica set in action. So what happened is the deployment created a new replica set, and what's happening is this is how it does the rolling upgrade. I don't know that I went into detail on that, but basically what's happening here is that it created one replica set and created another replica set that it's then migrating workload to. And this is where you get into like your max surge and whatnot. Now, this is interesting. Why aren't these ready? So let's actually look at the replica set and why it's not ready. I actually know the answer to this one, but actually maybe I don't know. Why didn't let's search here. Let's do this. I think I know why this should fail. Why is it not telling me? So it scaled down the replica set, scaled the replica set up to 1. But it's not ready. Not ready. This is why. This is why. Okay, we were looking in the wrong place to see the error. Sorry, I haven't seen the error for a little while. Let's check it out. No, let's describe. All right, let's see. Starting, pulled it a bit. pulling image busybox. So I think the problem here is that busybox just exits immediately. I was hoping to see a little bit better of that. So you know what? Let's edit again. Instead of busybox, let's just throw in an Nginx. Because I think it's terminating. That's what I was thinking, at least. Let's just throw the image in here as Nginx. Because I think that if you don't give it a command of sleep, that it's going to just fail. And we should see here that it's now running. Okay. Okay, so that's what it was. But yeah. That's interesting. There should be a better way of seeing it. It's not that it's failing. It's that it perceives it as failing, which I guess makes it pretty hard to diagnose. I was hoping that there was a better error status for it. Let's see. Kget. Now the other thing that I find interesting oh, this one's crashing too. Let's get the logs from it. The other thing that I find interesting is I thought the list was immutable until 122. I don't know what version I'm on. So I thought that the list of containers was actually immutable. And so I thought it should have failed actually before this because I didn't think I was supposed to be able to... I guess I did a update to the deployment. So let's see why this is... Now we need the container busybox. Oh, it's failing because it can't bind. Okay, so this actually makes sense. It tries to bind and then it quits after a while. Okay. Okay. What image should we run then? We can either run an image or we can just give busybox a sleep command. Let's do that by hand. Let's go ahead and edit this. And we can just go back to the busybox and give it a sleep command. Let's see. I think this is the right thing. Wait, is args a subset of command? I don't think so. I think that's... I don't do that. Okay, let's see. No, they did not like that. Let's see. The edit file unknown field cmd. What? An unknown field? It's on the containers, right? I could be very wrong here. I guess I am. I thought that's where you put it. Kubernetes image. Oh, it's just command. Okay, not CMD. That's my problem. It could be the readiness and liveliness probes. Those are interesting concepts to get into because you're right, a container would require this to do it. Which BusyBox is probably why BusyBox just stopping failed some of those probes, or could have. Those are things we can look into. This is actually fully spelled out command. I think it's CMD and Docker files, so. All right. There we go. Ooh, it's running so far. Let's see. No restarts. Cool. So that's what we need to do, but we need to now do this dynamically. And you know what the really cool thing is? We also need to use a finalizer to undo this whenever we delete our custom resource definition. Okay, so we're on the right track. Let's dig into this. Let's go back to the code and think about how we want to do this. The other thing that we need to do, we are going to update the deployment and we're going to push out a new deployment, which will call the reconciliation loop. So what we need to do is basically look for our special deployment or our special container, which we're going to throw something on that container to specify it as ours. And if we find it on it, we're going to do nothing because basically we'll get into that endless reconciliation loop that I was trying to warn you guys about. And don't worry, the reason I know about it is because I've done it so many times. Anyways, it's a hashtag first time operator problems. So, all right, so we have our list of deployments, and basically what we need to do here is we need to check. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's actually look at our deployment. I just want to look at how. Actually, it's just the edit command. So what can we do here? This is our image, but we need to specify that this is our image. Maybe we name it. Let's name it the Injector. So we're basically going to look for a container called the Injector. If it exists, then we know to leave it alone, and we won't re-update it. Okay, that's good. So we need to take its spec, get its container list, give it a new container list. All right, so then we'll do, actually in this, we're going to do for containers, underscore C. Range. This will be v dot spec. Spec dot. No, it's not containers right off the bat. It is. No, it is containers. Oh no, I need to go template spec. My bad. My bad. Not that. Template. Well, spec, then template, then the spec of the template. Spec.template.spec.containers. There we go. All right, so for each container, we're going to basically check and see. I guess I don't really like this. We'll come up with a better way to do this. Needs updated equals true, and if the C dot name equals the injector, then we do needs updated equals false. Now that we have used this twice, this injector, why don't you like this? I don't know why I've been doing that. We're going to just make it a const up here. All right. I know I harp on naming, and yet I suck at it. I think understanding that you suck at something is the first step in fixing it. Now I just have to get better at it. I don't know. All right, cool. Actually, I know what to name this. The selector. There we go. That's a better name. This way, I'm not sure we want to do that the name is equal to the selector. Now, if you change the selector, I guess actually that's interesting, because then you could actually do two different ones that had different selectors and labeled their containers separately. So I think we do want to do this. Okay. Needs updated equals true. Declared but not used. That's fine. So now, basically, what we want to do is if needs updated, we can give it a new container. So this is a v1's container spec, yes? This is in core. So core v1 contain. Wait, let me make sure container is in core. Core isn't, yeah. That's what I would guess. I like to check. So if needs updated, we're going to need, let's just build a function that builds out a container. We could just read it in from a file, but I actually think that might be more work than the little bit of container work that we need. All right, so yeah, let's just run a new func down here. Let's get, I don't think that it needs to be part of that. We'll just get new container. Not sure we need anything. Let's do that. You know what a good live stream would be is testing operators. That is not easy. Like, a lot of this functionality relies on Kubernetes. And so actually designing an operator to have unit tests is hard and is a really good thing to learn. Something I need to get better about. And then how to run integration tests is one reason I think that Tilt can really help, because you can actually use it to run integration tests. But yes, testing an operator is interesting because you kind of need Kubernetes. All right, get new containers. Oh, you know what? This is going to return a core v1. It's not going to know where core v1 is, so let's give that up here. We're just going to copy and paste this bad boy, and we're going to do core v1. Core v1. I love that Go will allow you to do this. That's awesome. But this is core. Beautiful. And now we will return a new core v1.container. Why are you so angry? Oh. All right, and let's see, we need name. Name is going to be equal to our injector selector variable. The image, oh, you know what we need to pass in here? We actually do need to pass in a variable. We need to pass in, sorry, I got a hair. We need to pass in our container injector because it has which image that we want to actually run. So let's, you know what we can do though? This is what I was talking about. We're going to do v1, not vim, v1 container injector spec. We're just going to pass in the spec that we're wanting. And we'll just do this. We'll call this spec. This is the spec we're shooting for. And so now we can do image equals our spec dot image, and yeah, that way you don't have to do like thing dot spec dot image. You're just passing the spec in. I find that very much cleaner. This function doesn't care about the status or any of the other metadata on there. All right, I think that's all. Did we need to do anything else? Let's go back to our thing here. Let's see. We gave it a name and we gave it an image. We probably should eventually support a command, an argument and command. Maybe we should do that now, because if we don't do it now, maybe we should do that now, because if we don't do it now, we're going to run into problems where we can't run BusyBox or Nginx. Yeah, let's do it now. So we'll run BusyBox, and we need args and commands. But you know what? I'm going to cheat, I think. I think I'm going to cheat. I'm going to show you how to cheat. Cheating is good. What we need here is, we're not going to create these things. We're just going to use the ones that are here on the v1 container. Boom. So then we can just go back up to our types, and we just gonna paste these suckers. Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of all the documentation. We don't need documentation. I'll leave the protobuf definitions. We're not using protobufs. This is actually really good to do, so you can build out your protobufs, so you can build it serialize into protobufs, but we're not worried about that right now. Well, I don't write tests. I make all the junior developers write tests. That's their job, is to follow along behind my mad stream of code and find some way out to test it. Because if they can test my code, then they're a fairly decent engineer. And I'm just joking. I'm just joking. 100% joking. You know what though? It's not honestly a bad way to learn. I don't like pair programming, but I do like specific pair programming. Like, okay, I'm doing something interesting, and if I have a junior engineer that I don't think has ever seen that, I'll 100% call them up and be like, hey, let's do this together. You can see me do it. You can ask questions. You can, give me insight, because they might actually catch something while I'm doing it. And we'll pair program. But I think pair programming is best when you're actually doing it with a reason, not just your day-to-day. I don't know. All right, I'm just not secure enough. It's a weird thing. I struggle with, what is it called? Imposter syndrome. Like nobody's business. Do you know what gave me imposter syndrome worse than anything? Having 1,000 YouTube subscribers. I know 1,000 isn't a lot to a lot of people, but I was like, holy crap, people actually watch my crap. All right, so we got these, but we need to actually now edit them in our deployment. So let's go to our example. We need to do a command here, command, and we're going to just do this as like we did our other one. This is going to be sleep, and then args. I really like curly braces. 5,000. Beautiful. There we go. So now we need to add this to our code. So let's jump over to our code. We're going to look at all right, so if it needs update, oh wait, So here, where did I go? Okay, this is where. I was like, where did I go? We need to do command, and that command needs the spec.command, and then we need to give it args as well. Args gets spec.args. All right. So our container injector operator is almost operational. And as soon as I don't get sued by Apple, my naming conventions are just as bad. You know what the worst part of a bad Git repo name is? Like, it's spewed throughout. It's spewed throughout all of this. Oh, it's gonna be horrible. I'll probably update it before. What I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through this entire live stream, and I'm going to do like a highlights video. Please join the live stream. Just because I make a highlights, don't not join, because I really want to have the conversation where we talk and do whatnot. But I'd love to actually have an edited one with the bloopers where I make stupid mistakes and just like a highlights of actually doing the things. So I'd like to do that of these, especially if it's just once a month. If we're doing a stream like once a week, forget it. But if we're doing like a once a month stream where we do like a challenge, I'm going to try to do that. I don't know why I was telling you that. And holy crap, I forgot to record on the device. I'll just have to download it from YouTube. That's going to kill me. All right. Okay, so we updated this. We updated the code. Here we go, our code. So now let's use this here. All right, if we need to update, our new container is going to be new container. And when we go to deploy this, I want to delete all the resources. Remind me, because like we've changed the specs and everything, and I want to just do everything fresh. Is equal to get new containers. And we're just going to pass in our, what is it called? Our injector. Injector.spec. Yep, beautiful. And now that we have our new container, what we need to do is we need to do the deployment dot, it's spec dot template dot spec dot containers. And actually, we need to do an append. We need to do this equals an append. And we need to do the new container here. And now, what we need to do is we need to save this. And this is why we check for this, because this is going to kick off another reconciliation loop. And it's why maybe, just maybe, we should actually look for the labels, because then it would only happen if a label was made. But actually, I'm going to fight back against that again, because what happens if they make a new update to the deployment? It's going to override our thing, and we're actually going to want it put back in. So I think this is still right. But anyways, we just don't want to keep doing it. So basically, if it doesn't need updated, if that container's already running, just don't. All right, we're going to append. Now we need to save this. This is how we write back. So we've used the client to list and get, and now we're going to use it to write. So r.client. So do we? This is where I really don't like. I think we want to patch. Yeah, let's look at this. This is where this gets a little tricky. We're going to have our object take our patch. And this is where I'm not very good at this. This is like the data they want you to patch with. So what I think we need to do is serialize our data into We need to serialize our data into JSON, into a byte array of JSON for this object. Now, this is what I don't like about this patch interface, because I feel like I should just be able to give the new object. And they do this if you look at now, the operator framework doesn't actually support this, but they give you this ability to do this with unstructured data. So you can use an unstructured data type, and that's the easiest way to do this. Because what it does is, with the unstructured data, you can do a server-side apply, which I really like. Let me see if I can't pull up an example of server-side apply. Let me see. Let me browse around here really quickly. Server-side apply is where it's at, for sure. But maybe we can just call update. I don't know. Updates. Let's just try calling update and not patch. I don't remember why. I always have problems with update, and I always go back to patching. I don't remember why. I almost never update, but let's try update. And I always patch, but I don't actually remember why. Why update updates the given object in the Kubernetes cluster. Object must be a struct pointer so that the object can be updated with the content returned by the server. Oh, because update is actually updating your object from the server, not updating it on the server. That's why. Patch is patching it. Patching it is actually patching the thing on the server. But this says update updates the given object in the Kubernetes cluster. Update should work. Let's do update. Let's see what it does. Update is easier to use. Update CTX. Update object. So our object that needs updating is our deployment. So in that case, it's V. And options. So let's do and let's check out what these are. Dry run, field manager, raw. Raw represents the raw updates. I don't think that we need to do any update options. So let's go back. Why do you not like V? All right, how about that? How do you like them apples? All right, so this kind of maybe should work. I don't feel like this will work, but we're going to do it this way, and we'll see. We'll see. So the first thing we want to do is stop the operator from running. The next thing we want to do is delete everything that we have. Quit. Get all. Delete. We want to delete our deployments. I should have deleted both at the time. The other thing that we want to delete is, no, that's it. Get all. That should have removed everything there in terminating. That leaves us clean to start with our deployments. Our operator is shut down, so it's not running. All right, give me 1 second. I know I just took a break. Wait. I took a break like an hour ago. I have to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to take a very short break. This shouldn't be as long as last one, but I do need a bathroom break, or else I guess you guys wouldn't notice, but I would feel awkward, like more awkward. So I'm going to take a quick little breather. I will be right back in about 3 minutes. Drank way too much coffee. Ah, that's a beautiful be right back. screen. Beautiful. All right. What am I breaking? World's fastest hand washing. That's what I'm breaking. All right. Let's see. Switch back. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. All right. Here we go. Okay, so we're on the precipice of this thing working, maybe even working. And then we need to work on a finalizer. Maybe once we're done with the finalizer, we'll call it good. I can't spend too much time today on this. Thank you everyone that has joined. Sorry for making you watch me redo my hair. I need to get a haircut, probably multiple. Going to my sister's wedding. Probably should have more presentable hair. I really like long hair, but my hair doesn't look good long, but I like it. So, obviously I don't care that much about how I look. All right, let's see. What do we need to do? Let me share my screen, get back to the screen sharing. Let's get to some coding. Let's do this. All right. It's updated. We're calling update. All this, in theory, this should work. Again, I think I feel like I've had troubles with this. I think I won't get into my thoughts because maybe I'm wrong. All right, so we updated this to have all the stuff that we need. Oh, this is wrong. We just need help. Image, busy box, commands, args look good. We have a commit. We have one with clean with no labels, and we have one with the injector help label. All looking fantastic. This needs saved. There we go. All right, let's deploy all this. So let's do make install. I know that we changed our CRDs a little bit. And then we can do make run. The very first thing we're going to do after that's getting up and running is to apply our custom resource. Let's make sure everything terminated. Yep, everything terminated. Beautiful. So we can do k apply, nope, yeps, apply, -f, examples. Let's do our container injector first. So this is going to be our custom resource. Actually, I didn't delete the container injector, but that's okay. It's configured now. We can actually check on it. So okay. Okay, if you guys are all wondering why there's Apple in this, first, I'm not an Apple developer, never stated I did. The Git repo is called Apple Operator because it was the first thing that came to mind because we didn't have a name for it. It should have been Container Injector Operator, but it's not. I will probably fix that. Probably, or probably not. Yeah, I might not, honestly. All right, okay, Git Injector, Container Injector, YAML. Wait. The name of this one is Container Injector Sample. Wait. Did I misspell something? Possibly misspelled something. Yep. All right. So yes, it looks good. It has the args, command, image, and label. Beautiful. So now what we need to do is create our two object. Now the hope and goal here is we will create this one and it will stay just as it is. There's no label and it won't get updated. And then our second hope is that this one will get a new container in it and redeployed. That's the hope. Hopes and dreams. Let's do the clean one first and just validate that it hasn't been tampered with. Example. All right, so it should run. It should see that it's clean. And we should be able to check on it and make sure that it doesn't actually we should be able to check on it and make sure that it hasn't actually been updated. Okay. So that would be a bug if it was actually doing it to all of them. So it's left this one alone. Perfect. All right, now let's apply our one that needs help. All right, and so it's going to go and it needs to update Nginx. And ooh, this is not good. It's run quite a few times, but that could be because it updated it. So it looks like it's stopped. So this is acceptable because there's a couple times with replica sets, and then it's going to update it, which it itself is going to call it. And then that update could cause rolling updates through the replica sets that cause it to update. So it's actually okay that it ran a couple times. It actually stopped. So now the moment of truth here is, did it deploy our BusyBox or did it not? Oh, we did it. There we go. We have an operator that, now in the end, this is supposed to be a container that helps you debug it. And the person that made the request specifically said Nginx, or not Nginx, Visual Studio Code. We can do another stream on like actually trying to do Visual Studio Code, but the one thing I want to do is the finalizer for this, because right now if we delete our operator, it leaves this, or our injector sample, it leaves this on there. And what I want it to do is go back and reverse everything that it's done, because you're saying I don't want this configuration anymore. So we need to handle that in the finalizer. But nice job. I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. Let's actually make sure it's running, like it's working. Okay. Yeah. Very happy with that. So basically, the problem I see now is you do git Injector, and you see this one. Now, if we delete this, if we say, you know, k delete container injector sample, the problem is it won't update our Nginx to just be clean Nginx. And that's what I really want to get going, is that when we delete it, it rectifies the state of the cluster. It removes its taint, per se. All right, so let's do that. Let's do that. I'm going to look up the finalizer stuff. I don't remember off the top of my head, so I mean, like, I can point you where we do it, but like, there's a I can try to do this without. No, I need to look up documentation. I know too much stuff to like, for me, I don't remember, like, I don't write a finalizer every single day, and so I'm never going to memorize the exact specific context you use to do it. There are some people that either write it enough or just have a way better memory than I do. But where you do this is you go into your controller here, and you hit up this reconcile, and it should go close to the top of the reconciliation loop. And basically here, you're going to check and see if it has a finalizer. If it has a finalizer, but it doesn't have it on the custom resource definition, you actually add it to the resource. And then if it does, and you're deleting, so basically you check for the deletion timestamp, you then want to run a custom function that deletes all the resources before you delete the thing. So that's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to look up the documentation, because I can tell you what needs to happen here. I just forget exactly what KubeBuilder Finalizer. They have some really great documentation here. Using Finalizer, we're going to copy and paste a big chunk that they have right here. This is it right here. This is what we're going to copy and paste. That's what I needed to know. So we can step through this code. It's fairly simple. But okay, so instead of cron job, we're checking our injector. And this is what I was saying. We're checking if the deletion timestamp is there. So basically, when you go and delete something, see you later, Drill. Thanks for sticking around for all this. Learned a lot about Apple. Yeah. Yeah. They make the worst keyboard ever. This right here. Worst keyboard known to humankind. Bad switches, bad design, doesn't work well. But it's the only Bluetooth keyboard I have. All right, so this is basically how it works. Like I was saying, you check if you're deleting, and this is how you check. The deletion timestamp is always 0 unless if the object has been deleted. So you'll get one reconciliation loop with a deletion timestamp. If it is 0, you're going to check for your finalizer name. So let's change this to, we're going to call this dev dot the null channel, and then this is really container injector finalizer. So this is that's the finalizer name, and you'll see it being used throughout. Let's go ahead and also put this whenever they're using cron job. This was their example. This is pretty templated code, though. It's pretty much the exact same. You can do some different things, but there. If we save this, most things should go unread. Oh, contain string is a function that they wrote. I forgot about that. It's just this one. So we'll copy and paste those. We could, you can do this a little bit differently if you want. It's a good boilerplate though. So I don't see why, when we're just trying to do this quickly. And the last thing you see here is this delete external resources, and this is the function that we're going to implement. You can see theirs right here is delete external thing. So we can go ahead and throw this in here as a function that we are going to do. And we don't have a reconciler, we have a container injector reconciler. All right. So delete Kubernetes resources, and we are using it's a container injector, not their batch job. All right. What do you not like about that? Oh, oops. There. All right. All right. So yeah, this is it. Let's step over it. We're checking if we're deleting it. If we are deleting it, we're checking to see if it has a finalizer. If it doesn't contain the finalizer, we add the finalizer to it because that's what we're doing. Sorry. We're checking to see if it's not being deleted. Then we're checking to see if it has the finalizer. So the very first time you create it or it runs, it's going to then add that finalizer to it. If it's not, if the timestamp is not 0, then it's being deleted. And so then you're going to see if it has the finalizer. If it does have the finalizer, you're going to run the delete resources, and then you're going to remove the finalizer and let it end. So this, as soon as this happens, it's going to be deleted. It's actually fairly simple. There's just some steps that you have to go through to do it. This is why I copy and paste the code, because it's a fairly straightforward and good template to use. So now all of our magic has to happen in delete external resources, and this is where we need to delete our finalizer. Also, this is interesting. I think that this is a really important thing here. This is where so many people, if you've ever had an operator, I know that the Rook operator had a problem with this for a little while, where you would delete its custom resource, and it would get stuck in deleting or cleaning up finalizers. And so you actually had to go into the JSON and remove the finalizer from the resource, because what happens is there would be a bug and its finalizer never actually finished. And so it would just sit there forever. And so you could never actually clean up the namespace, because if you tried to delete the namespace, it would say, hey, you can't delete the namespace because there's something still in it, because it can't delete itself. And if you said delete the object, it said, well, I'm trying to delete the object, and whatever. So we now have a finalizer, but it doesn't do anything. What we need to do is we need to basically do this in reverse. So I'm just going to copy this code. For brevity, it's probably not the best way to do this, but what we need to do, you know what we need in here? We need a context. All right, there we go. Beautiful. All right, so we need a context. All right, now what we need, we also need our request, because we need the namespace. Actually, we could just have a namespace. Just pass in the namespace that this is running in. Namespace. No need to pass in information you don't need. Update this. So we're going to get a list of our deployments. Like so. I know there's a bug up here, and we don't check if this is an error. I'm not so good at this. You know what? I don't. Yeah, we just, okay. All right. So now the only thing that we have to do here is we get the deployments. So instead of filtering on the labels, I actually don't care what they're labeled. What I do care, and I don't need to remove the labels because that's somebody else is doing that, is adding those labels to it. What I do want to do is I want to filter on ones that have containers with the injector name. Okay, and I don't need to create. This can all be deleted, and this should be needs let's rename this to rename symbol to needs container removed, because we want to remove that container that we added. All right, so needs container removed, and we have our injector here. What does this mean for us? Oh, okay. So let's go back up here. I got a little ahead of myself here. White space, people, is good. It makes it easier to read. All right. So we're getting a list of deployments, and here, instead of looking for this here, we're just going to start it new. Instead of looking for the label, we're going to do if v.spec. Why aren't you updating code? Oh, I have in. If v.spec.template.spec.containers. We're going to have to do another loop here. This is cringe, but containers is a, yeah, it's not a map. If for underscore v in range of containers, if v, we shouldn't use v, we'll do just say container. If container.name is equal to what did we call it? Selector. Selector is our variable. Then we need to go ahead and add that to our list. Oh, and you know what? We don't need this needs removed container because only the ones in the list are going to have it. So yeah, we can just operate on every single one of them. Beautiful. All right. So in that case, we do this. We delete this chunk of code altogether. We don't care about the labels. We're just basing it off of the containers. And then, and honestly, we're doing this based off of name for brevity. Again, we probably should create our own label for it and whatnot so that we can identify the container, because if somebody had a container that was named Injector, this would delete it. We could, another thing we could do is just do it if it has the label and the thing, only do it then. But for right now, this is fine. This is a proof of concept, solidly just a proof of concept of something that's probably not even useful, because the kubectl debug command now exists. So instead of labeling it, you just use the kubectl debug command. So this isn't actually even that useful of an operator. Because now, before the kubectl debug command, sure, this is effectively the debug command. Okay, so now we don't need to do this with needs removed because it's simpler. Everything in here, a deployment to remove. And now all we have to do is delete the container. How do we want to... I don't know why I'm mind blanking on this. All right, so to remove one, we actually need to know the location of the container. Why am I? We just return a new slice of the slice. Slicing off one off the end would be easy, but I don't know that it's necessarily on the end. I could make the assumption that it's on the end. The other thing that I could do is I could just, this is what I'm going to do. This is going to be easier. Maybe not the optimal solution, but this is what I'm going to do. All right. What we're going to do here is we're going to just make a new slice of containers. So this was v1 core v1 dot containers, and wait, this is a slice of them. Yep, there we go. And what we're going to do is for in the range of what this is our, so we have a v dot spec, nope, not string, spec dot template dot spec dot containers. There we go. So for each one of our containers, if the container dot name does not equal our selector, then let's see. So if the container name doesn't equal the selector, then what we're going to do is we are going to append it to the new containers. New container, new containers equals append new containers and container. And that's it. So then all we have to do here after this is that we do r dot client dot update. Actually, one second, we need to do here first is our deployment, or v dot spec dot template dot spec dot containers equals our new container list, new containers. And then what we need to do is call update on our, we need to call update on with our context, ctx, and then our new object is our v, and our client options, client dot update options. There we go. We need to pass in a pointer, and presto. All right. Is this correct? Is this correct? I think so. And then it shouldn't run again because, I mean, it will run again, but we already did the deletion timestamp, and this container won't exist in the deployment anymore. And so the deployment will be updated and our stuff will be removed. All right, so we didn't add anything, so it's actually pretty easy to check. What we're going to do is to go over here, and we're going to, yeah, we could just delete that, but what we need to do is make sure the new code is running. We don't need to do an install. We can just run the new one. It's going to run is going to build it again. Uh-oh. Cannot use injector variable type blah 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 as context and value argument. Oh, we have a red line here. Red lines usually mean bad things. So we need context ctx, and then we need the namespace as well. So that's here. Namespace, and then the injector. There we go. All right. Now we should be able to do make run. All right, so it's running. Now what should happen is when we delete our sample, we should get, so when we delete this, this should go back to a single container pod. I'm a little nervous, actually. Not gonna lie. Oh, I forgot. 1 second. I forgot to tell it container inject. That was a letdown. Container in. I built that up. All right, now it should work. It should work now. All right, it was deleted. Now the real truth is if we do kget all and if this is deleted. I'm worth every penny that you guys pay me to do this. Every penny. Check it out. It went ahead and updated. It removed our container. And now our container is awesome and it works beautifully. So I think I can say I nailed this challenge. This challenge is mine. I did it. So Raydell, you're the one that asked me. Your asks are my command. And yeah, you have something to label and deploy Visual Studio Code or anything else based off of a label. I don't think that this is super useful for development. I don't think that this is the most useful thing that I've ever created, but let me know if you think of something interesting we could do it, because it really just injects any container based off of a label. I don't know, maybe we could do something interesting with it. I'll have to think about that. Whew. Okay, how is everyone doing? For those of you that are still with me, I'm pretty excited. The stream should get better, so I have gotten a ton of likes. Thank you very much. I did not expect that. This is really my first time live coding. So like I said, I really want to know what you guys would like as another challenge. These monthly challenges, I really want you guys to come up with something that's maybe feasible, but really hard to do. Absolutely. Don't hold it to just Kubernetes. I do a lot of Kubernetes. It's fine to be Kubernetes. I like Kubernetes. You like Kubernetes. We all like Kubernetes. Oh no, guys. Check this out. I did this entire stream without my blue light. Oh, there we go. It was charging. That looks so much better. That was so much better now. I'm actually really proud of my I say proud, but my wife made it. My bust. She made it out of clay. Anyways, that looks so much better. Okay, so that being said, I really want some challenges that we don't think we're going to be able to do, and we bust out and learn something. So if you have those, join the Discord and let me know. Hopefully this stream gets better and better. This is the first time I have it set up like this. If you're on the Discord, you can see I'll probably send a tweet out about it. Hopefully it gets a little bit better and we don't have this fire hazard that I have over here. I literally have a keyboard acting as a USB bus for my Mac Mini because that's what I needed. Hopefully that goes away because I actually would like to use that keyboard. And yeah, come up with some good challenges. If you guys decide that you'd like me to do maybe either an early morning programming stream, I can do that on a different channel. Like call it null dev or something, because I do have projects that I work on in my spare time, and I actually like the idea of just streaming it because it would actually make me sit there and do it. Um, you know, I think once a week is probably a fair amount, and I like the idea of morning because that help makes it easier for Europeans and Africans. I won't forget about you, Jubril. You're about the only person from Africa, and I probably botched your name, and I apologize for that. Anyhow, I feel happy we did this. So what? 3 hours, roughly 3 hours. We made a Kubernetes operator that deploys a sidecar container inside of the deployment and then cleans itself up if you delete it. Um, yeah, I'm actually super happy with that. I hope people found it educational. I hope it was at least fun. And remember, if you liked it, please like and subscribe and stick around. And I'll try to get you guys some good videos in the future. And yeah, anyways, have a fantastic rest of your guys' weekend.